ESPN, the world leader in motor sports coverage, welcomes you live to Michigan International Speedway and the running of the NASCAR Winston Cup GM Goodwrench Service Dealer 400. Beautiful day and a huge crowd on hand. We've got 11 races to go in the series, and Terry Labonte is on top of Dale Earnhardt by 76. The top four separated by just 147 points, and 6 through 10 are very tight, with just 55 markers separating them. Hi everyone, I'm Bob Jenkins, and welcome to Michigan. Should be a great race. We have a very interesting lineup. Now, only 3 of the guys that you saw in the top 10 in points are in the starting top 10 here today, and only 2 of the top 10 starters have ever won a race in 1996, and we have 4 drivers in the top 10 that have never won a race at all. Taking a look at the starting lineup, Jeff Burton will be on the pole at a 185.395 mile-an-hour lap. Bobby Labonte alongside. The second row consists of Mark Martin and Dick Trickle. Row number 3, Bobby Hamilton goes along with Sterling Marlin. Jeff Gordon and Darrell Waltrip make up row number 4. And in the 5th row, it's Lake Speed and Michael Waltrip.
Back in row 6, we have Dale Jarrett and Ernie Irvin. Ned?
And in row 7, we have Bobby Hillin and Kenny Wallace. Earnhardt and Andretti make up row 8.
Then it's Joe Nemechek and Ken Schrader in the next row. Row number 10 consists of Johnny Benson and Rusty Wallace, who won here in June. And as you look at the rest of the field, notice that Bill Elliott, who helped us out in the booth last week at Watkins Glen, is in the lineup for today. Beautiful day. You couldn't ask for better weather. We have a breeze. It'll be blowing down the backstretch, but the temperature is very, very comfortable, and we anticipate just some great action here today.
Now we're back through the 30th position. Last week's winner, Jeff Bodine. His brother Brett right behind him. As we watch the rest of these cars, about 5 or 6 cars starting at the rear of the field all stopped to put that one last splash of fuel in the car. Sachs, Mayfield, both those cars stopped. Also Mike Wallace, because concern at this racetrack, we've talked about it all morning, is fuel mileage.
The race analysis is very important. We will go 200 laps, 400 miles, a track record 166 set by Rusty in June of this year. The pole speed 185.3. There is the very important pit window, somewhere between 48 and 52, and $1.5 million worth of purse. That pit window, though, could expand or, of course, decrease depending upon the cautions that fly. Normally, there aren't very many. Look at the crowd on hand here as they're on their feet waving to their favorite driver. And the green flag is out. The race is on. And he has not led a lap in NASCAR Winston Cup competition since June of last year here at Michigan. But from the second row, Dick Trickle led lap number 1.
How about that?
Here's more from Jerry.
God, that's a huge relief this morning when they cranked up the 90 car. They heard something in the engine. They didn't want to change motors. That was the only one they had that would run well here. They pulled it apart, changed the clutch, changed the transmission, and Judy Dunlap said, "You will know when I do, Doc, if that thing is going to run first time by." I told Dick, hammer it. If it stays together, we should be there all day.
It is running 3 abreast off the 4th corner. Dale Jarrett on the bottom of the racetrack, Bobby Hillin in the middle, and Dale Earnhardt alongside as Bobby Labonte goes into the lead. And here's the onboard camera from Rusty Wallace.
Rusty on the inside of the number 87 of Joe Nemechek. Here's a battle side by side, Lake Speed and Sterling Marlin.
The Misses the onboard from Jeff Gordon. Oh, lake speed, a little wiggle there in turn 3.
And he got in the side of the 4-car, Sterling Marlin. Got Sterling Marlin. Here comes the battle for the lead. Bobby Labonte, Mark Martin hooked up and says, see ya, Dick Trickle.
Labonte led the previous lap. Mark Martin has hooked up with him to take over second, putting Dick Trickle back to third. Lake Speed in fourth. He's broken away from that group. That includes Michael Waltrip, Jeff Gordon,
And the rest of the field.
and the pole sitter, Jeff Burton.
Chevy.
Ricky Rudd alongside Nemechek on the outside as he follows Terry Labonte. This is back in the field. Oh, baby! Michael Waltrip and Jeff Burton. Jeff Gordon.
Sterling Marlin is in this fight along with Ernie Irvin.
What? These boys are racing today.
They're going at it. Looks like the outside lane is the best right now, but look at Jeff Burton come up on the inside, shoot all the way across the racetrack right up in front of Jeff Gordon.
And I tell you what, that's nothing but pure luck, because there was no idea that who was out there. He just had to go up. His car got loose. He had to chase that back end up the racetrack.
Watching from the 10th place runner right now, Michael Waltrip. Up ahead is Dale Earnhardt. Now here comes Dale Jarrett alongside of Michael Waltrip. Earnhardt beside Ernie Irvin.
You know, Dale Jarrett, Todd Parrott, the crew chief on that car, number 88, is one of those that set the car up to run low on the racetrack.
And that moves Dale Jarrett up into the top 10 now. Terry Labonte, who started in the middle of the field, is beginning to move up. He's in 16th position at the moment.
Started back in 22nd, so he has picked up 6 spots. And he said his car was good yesterday in practice, but we just off a little bit. Uh-oh, here's the problem.
That's Robert Presley in the wall in turn 4. Heavy left side damage.
And the caution flag obviously is out, and Robert lets the window net down. It's good to see. Anytime there's left side contact with the wall, you're concerned, but let's see if we can see exactly what happened. It's already happened. He backs in the fence. Contact. And down the racetrack he comes.
No other car involved, just a 1-car incident. Robert Presley lowered the window net, indicating he was okay. Now here comes the rest of the field back to the line. There's going to be no major rush. It's going to be Bobby Labonte, followed by Mark Martin, then Dick Trickle, Lake Speed, Jeff Burton, Jeff Gordon, and Sterling Marlin. We'll take a break and be back with more of the GM Goodwrench Service Dealer 400.
Very happy here on Sundays. He qualified 5th, but he had to pit this just then. His car was too loose. He simply couldn't hang on to it. That team also did a motor change this morning because they found a cracked head. Dave.
Rick Mast's car was not behaving the way he wanted. It was a lot better car than 32nd qualifier, but in the first 5 laps of the race, he said, I got big trouble. They came in and made a huge chassis adjustment. 2 rounds out on the left rear for Rick Mast, who was 10th fastest in final practice.
And speaking of coming in, the pace car has done so, and the green flag has come back out to restart this event on lap number 12. Labonte up front. Now Dick Trickle to the inside of Mark Martin for second.
Dick got him a good jump there on the restart, didn't he? Sort of surprised Mark Martin a little bit. Lake Speed up on the outside behind Mark Martin.
Are still 3 by 3. Now Lake Speed trying to figure out which guy he's going with. I think I'll choose Trickle. Now that's probably not a good idea. Well, I'll just make it 3 abreast when we come off the corner. That'll work. But now Trickle eases up in front of Mark Martin and leaves Lake Speed to make his own. Now back there, Dale Jarrett makes it 3 wide, going by Ernie Irvin.
We've seen Dale down on the bottom of the racetrack already, and as Ned said, they've set the car up to run down in that area. He is up to 9th spot, looking ahead to Dale Earnhardt, who's 8th. Ricky Rudd has also made a nice move.
Already back to 23rd.
16th already.
And Ken Schrader is the car on the right of your screen on the bottom of the racetrack, also moving toward the front. And Mark Martin now hooked up with Jeff Burton and Sterling Marlin, trying to take second position away from Lake Speed.
At third spot.
Third spot.
Dick Trickle right now is the second place car. And Mark is able to get by, moves back into third spot.
Lake Speed has had some good runs here recently, and continuing that today. This is his 351st career NASCAR Winston Cup start. There you're watching 8, 9, 10, and 11 on back. And Ricky Rudd continues the march toward the front. He's outside of Bobby Hillen and behind Michael Waltrip. And Dave Despain is with Robert Presley.
Look at that rib. He's climbed out of that same car in which he broke a rib at Charlotte earlier this year. Been checked over at the care center. You're okay, but what happened?
Yeah, I tell you, I don't know what it is about that car, you know. It wants to spin out. But now the Skull Bandit team, you know, Andy, Terry, all the guys done a good job. We had the car real good yesterday. I knew it was going to be loose at the start. And don't know if, you know, somebody just got real close to us, took a little air off or what. But really hate it for these guys. So, you know, we're wanting to finish this year on a good note. And, you know, it just ain't going to be today.
Presley's out of the car, but he's okay.
And Jeff Burton has slid back from his pole position all the way to 10th now and is under considerable pressure from Waltrip and Rudd.
I wonder if his car might be a little bit loose here in the early going. I'm sure the chassis is not right. It's either loose or tight one.
Right along with Michael Waltrip.
Maybe we can tell when he goes into the corner and just see what it is. We have a report that he is loose going into the turns. Let's see. He drives on down pretty deep into that turn. Didn't get loose going in.
You see Dale Jarrett on the bottom of the racetrack still making that bottom groove work.
Back up front, it is still Bobby Labonte setting the pace. He won both races at this facility last year.
Boy, do they have a great setup for that Interstate Batteries Chevrolet. They've always run well here with that car.
And here's second and third, Dick Trickle and Mark Martin. And now we see Jeff Gordon. Thought he was going to make a move there on Sterling Marlin. That's the 5th and 6th positions. And Earnhardt back there in 7th. I was real surprised if you did not hear our NASCAR Today show over on the Deuce. Dale told Dave Despain that he hurts more in this race driving this track than he does at Watkins Glen.
That's what he's saying, that when he goes in the corner and pulls down on the wheel with his left hand, that it really hurts that collarbone.
And you have to pull so long. These turns are so long.
Gary, maybe you can explain that medically a little bit better.
Well, Bob, at Watkins Glen, it was the sternum, the middle part of his breastbone, that really was the painful part. He said the sternum doesn't hurt him at all. It's the clavicle. Of course, now, remember, he's back in his seat, which lays down almost in the race car down on the left, and the belt pulls right across the fracture site. Plus, you add to it what I told you in the open. He made the mistake of picking up a sledgehammer and getting mad at his bulldozer this week, and when he slung the sledgehammer, he heard it pop, so he probably separated that clavicle. That also adds to the pain he's feeling right now.
I think a bulldozer is something you wouldn't want to get mad at.
No,
you're going to lose.
Arguing with a bulldozer is probably not a wise thing to do.
He probably figured that out real quick, too.
There's John Andretti and Morgan Shepherd running side by side on the racetrack through turn number 2. That's Hud Strickland in the 8 car behind them. And they're running where, Ned? Back about 23rd, 24th, 25th, something like that?
Yes, 26, 27. Good racing all the way back through the pack.
Tim Brewer is home back in North Carolina watching this race today.
He's the crew chief on the 37 car of John Andretti.
Napa Field summary will show you the current standings and where they started. Dale Jarrett to the inside now of Dale Earnhardt. And Jarrett moves to 7th. Just ahead of them, the battle continues between Dick Trickle and Mark Martin. These guys have been battling it out since the drop of the green flag, and Trickle retakes second spot.
Well, Earnhardt stayed up on that high side, just drove right on back around Jarrett, coming off of turn 2.
But now Dale answers the call with a low inside move. They're having quite a little battle out there.
Yeah.
These corners, believe it or not, are so totally different here at this speedway. Turns 1 and 2, you can get through that corner without any problem and have trouble in 3 and 4. Most of the trouble is in the fourth corner of this racetrack. The cars want to push, go towards the wall as they come off that corner.
Michael Waltrip, followed by Ricky Rudd. They're just outside the top 10 in 11th and 12th.
See Rudd, listen to him, back off the throttle.
See, Michael's car got a little bit wiggly going into the turn. 21 sit go forward.
Bobby Hillin staying up with the foursome there, along with the current points leader in NASCAR Winston Cup, Terry Labonte. Trickle and Martin still at it for second place.
Trickles hangs on.
Bobby Labonte has built himself up a nice lead at this point. Now Sterling Marlin takes a look to the inside of Mark Martin. Cannot take over that third position in turn 3.
And Mark came off that corner, tried to get under Trickle, bogged the engine down just a little bit, and had to ease out of the throttle, and that let Sterling Marlin just close up right on his back bumper.
21 of 200 laps completed. There is the leader of the race, Bobby Labonte, looking for his third win here at Michigan in the last 4 races. We'll be right back. It's the GM Goodwrench Service Dealer 400 from Michigan International Speedway, and we have some terrific racing going on throughout the pack, as a matter of fact. Here's a side-by-side battle between Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon for 5th position.
Ernie Irvin moving up there in the picture. Ernie started back in 12th.
Dale Earnhardt has watched Dale Jarrett go by him in that Ford Quality Care car on the bottom of the racetrack, so he is trying it. It's not working for him this time, this lap anyway. Let's see if he can work better in 1 and 2 than does Jeff Gordon.
You can't get the entry that you need into the turn when you go into the turn on the inside of someone, and you have to turn the car too short. Coming off is where the beat is.
See Bill Elliott making a move toward the front.
Elliott, of course, is the winningest driver at this racetrack. He has won 7 times, 3 times this race, 4 times the earlier race in June, riding with Michael Waltrip.
And the Sitco car ran so well here in June and ran out of gasoline, and trying to get the car restarted, it caught on fire.
Sterling Marlin and Terry Labonte are running side by side.
11th spot.
Moments ago, however, Sterling Marlin was way out of control.
He's on the inside of the 24 car, and looks as he gets sideways. He tries to save the car. He does save the car and climbs up the racetrack, but loses about 5 spots. Bill Weber?
Well, Benny, he got run into a little bit by the 9 car earlier in traffic, so I went down there and I asked, and they said everything's okay. And now I just double-checked. They say Sterling has just reported the car's a little loose coming off the turns. Other than that, he hasn't said a whole lot. So maybe he just has his hands too full to push that radio mic.
Well, he was definitely loose back there in turn 4 a few laps ago and is now settled into 12th position. Bad news for Chad Little, and he has been black flagged because the NASCAR observers have spotted some fluid coming from that machine.
Well, while they're there, they decide they'll change the tires. Ricky Rudd goes by Ernie Irvin. Moves him in the 9th spot. Now Irvin tries to come back, and the slide job works. He's now 9th.
Ricky said, man, I had him, but couldn't keep him. Bobby Labonte out to about a 2.7-second lead over Mark Martin, who is in second.
Another Napa Field summary. Watch for your favorite driver, where he is running at the moment.
In parentheses on the right is where these cars started. We see Ricky Rudd, 10th spot, started in 23rd, so he's gained 13 spots. Terry Labonte, 11th, started 22nd. Now watch Rudd. He's going to gain a couple more spots right here, or try.
3 abreast. Boy, he gave a run off the turn and just blew way out the front. He got 5 up this car, but But there again, he don't have that entry into the turn. He had to go in and cut it too short. And they went right on back past him.
Yes, his angle getting in was just not good. Now we see Ted Musgrave has picked up a couple 6 spots. Ward Burton has slipped back, so evidently MB&A Pontiac having some problems today.
Chad Little was black flag, you just saw, and Robert Presley crashed. Dave Despain has more.
With all the talk about fuel mileage, you can't afford to have it leaking out of the car. The initial report was that the rear end was leaking. It was, in fact, a fuel leak. They've examined it, made a temporary fix. They'll send him back out. He'll probably come back in to try to make that a permanent fix.
And Dale Jarrett has moved to second place, passing Mark Martin. So Dale Jarrett has really been on the move since the drop of the green flag.
Well, they said to set it up low. That's about as low as you can get. He's right down on that white
Oh,
line.
Dick Trickle getting a little racy still. Alec Meyer's car staying right up there with the other Fords.
Now, before we went on that commercial break, Dick Trickle was running in second. While we were on the commercial break, Mark Martin got around Trickle and drove off and left him. And Dick got back there in some heavy traffic, and then Jarrett came along and passed him, and Dick hung on to Jarrett, just came right on back up through there. Drafting does play a part here at the Michigan International Speedway. Not like Daytona and Talladega, but certainly when you go 200 miles an hour on these straightaways, hey, we got a problem.
Kenny Wallace is in the wall in the backstretch, just off of turn 2.
Okay, she's cut off.
And this will be a break for all these cars. They'll be able to make their pit stop. And Kenny Wallace, if you see the quarter panel, it says square D. They announced here, Kenny Wallace is okay because he drives away. They announced here Friday that Square D would be the primary sponsor on that Kenny Wallace car for the next 4 years.
Through the year 2000.
Yes.
Wow.
And Kenny Wallace has signed with that team for 4 years. So.
Here's a replay of what happened coming off corner number 2 and down the backstretch, bringing out our second caution of the day. Well, he got help from somebody, maybe.
Looks like there might have been some contact. Hard to say. It was Derek Cope, the car right behind him.
So 2 cautions already today in the first 32 laps. There were only 2 cautions in the entire race in June.
Here they come again. Well, let's listen.
And Kenny Wallace has the wounded car down on the apron. Here's Jerry.
Guys, a moment ago, Kenny Wallace radioed Gil Martin, his crew chief, and said, I got tagged from behind by the 12 car, so that turned me around, so there was no stopping at the end, so we got heavy damage. We probably ought to cut it off and just head for the garage.
Going to be busy down your way, Jerry and Dave and Bill, because everyone on the lead lap coming in, and that includes all the field. Here's Jerry.
65 miles an hour. Jeff Gordon, the reigning Winston Cup champion, comes in. Now the car very, very tight. All the drivers complaining this track is much tighter than it was yesterday in the final practice section. As we watch the 24 car, let's check in the leaders pit with Bill Weber.
The defending champ of this race is in. 4 tires and fuel for Bobby Labonte. Has not complained at all about his car, and we know why. He's having a great race. Mark Martin has won the race off pit road. Big chassis adjustment now for the 18. Left side Stradi's away. Rudd and Elliott beat out the 18, followed by Rusty and Earnhardt.
Good stop for Rusty Wallace. He's going to have good track position as they come out.
I would guess that Rusty changed 2 tires.
He was in 15th.
Yes.
And that would be an indication. Of course, that crew always makes very fast pit stops.
1 car did stay out on the racetrack. Dave Marcus elected not to come in. Everybody else in for a scheduled pit stop. There's Dave at the back of the pace car. We'll take another break momentarily. Let's go back to the pit stops that occurred just a few minutes ago. What am I looking for, BP?
Just a moment ago, Jeff Gordon comes in and throws something out of his car. In just a second, he will stop. And there, we see him toss those things out of the car. Jerry Punch, what is that?
Well, Benny, to have a cool head, you got to have a cool body. That's what Jeff Gordon threw out of the car. These are ice packs, and they have a whole ice chest behind me full of them. Every time the man can go across and clean the windshield late in the pit stop, he will hand Jeff Gordon 2 of these. He'll stuff them down in his uniform, one on the left and one on the right. He, in meantime, will pull out the old ones and toss them out the window. Simple as that.
Okay, it's not all that hot here today, but I'm sure it gets a lot warmer in that race car. Now up front, Mark Martin and Ricky Rudd have a battle on their hands, and Rudd goes to the front.
Well, what a move. Right on the outside, drove right on into the turn and took the lead. But Martin's going to try to come back.
Bill Elliott.
Let's take a look at our pit stop summary. We can show you how Rudd got to where he is. Bobby Labonte was the leader when he came in, went to 4th. There's Jarrett, Martin, and Trickle's progress, but Rudd was 9th when he came in for the pit stop. It comes out in 2nd. Now he has the lead.
And he will lead this lap. I would guess that he changed 2 tires, but I don't know that for sure.
Yeah, that would be my guess as well.
Rusty Wallace back in 6th spot. Now he's got a great run on. Ricky Rudd tries his best to get alongside, take the spot away. Bill, he makes it. And Elliott tries to go on the outside.
And Dave Marcus is running there with him also. No, they're not Terry Labonte, or Bobby Labonte. Rudd is, or rather, Elliott's having a good run.
Rudd goes high. Here comes Bill Elliott under him. You see Rudd up there next to the wall.
Whoa!
Yeah, brass. Bobby Labonte down on the inside.
Labonte down on the apron of the track, almost all 4 wheels below the white line.
Says, spotter, tell me I'm clear. Coming up. He did.
Wow, nice move by Bobby Labonte to go to 2nd. Now we're riding on board Rusty Wallace's genuine draft, or Miller Ford, I should say.
Bill Elliott not able to get by. He's going to lose another spot as Rusty dives to the inside. I said, I'll wait.
Has to back off a little bit, getting into the corner. Didn't have his right line again, as we've talked about.
Because Rusty Wallace also, I imagine, changed 2 tires this last stop. Because he was running 15th before the caution flag. Right now is running in 5th spot. Well, that's a contest between he and Bill Elliott for 5th.
And Jarrett once again heads to the bottom of the racetrack underneath Rusty Wallace. Earnhardt will go down to the low side with him.
And there's Lake Speed. Where'd he come from?
Lake's been in the top 10 just about all day.
And he just drives up on the outside of Rusty Wallace, or tries to. Now he dives down to the inside. Wait a minute, Earnhardt was there. Boy, easy now.
Boy, they're using up some racetrack, aren't they?
This is the camera that's mounted up under the rear end of the car near the fuel cell.
Down to Dave Despain, who's with Dave Marcus.
Dave Marcus' best finish here was 3rd 21 years ago. You've been here a while. You ever been more disappointed? What happened?
Well, it's very disappointing. We had that Prodigy Chevrolet running good. I thought we had a good chassis. You know, we were doing those pit stops early because of fuel mileage at this place, but on that caution there, just as they were going to get ready to go back green, we hadn't even started up to speed yet, and the engine let go. It blew the engine, but I don't really know exactly what happened. It's a shame, you know. We needed to get that record today if we could get it, and we were looking forward to trying to do that.
5th fastest yesterday in practice, but out of the race today with a blown engine. Dave Marcus.
And the record he's talking about is the most mileage at the Michigan International Speedway?
Yeah, Richard Petty holds the record, and Dave was going to try to break it, but unfortunately will not get the chance. He needed, I think, 143 laps.
Bobby Labonte's car is a rocket ship on the straightaway. Watch as he pulls up right on the back bumper of Mark Martin. Oh, I just thought he'd blow by him. He is really, really getting down the straightaway. Now he goes high. He's going to get a good run on Mark Martin. Going in turn 3, Mark, you're all the Bonnies.
He's the only one of the top 5 that took on all 4 tires. I thought he maybe would make a run at that on the straightaway, but he did not. Meanwhile, there's still good battling going on behind that group, including Dale Jarrett trying to move up another position into 7th.
And he couldn't move up the racetrack because Lake Speed was there. Lake moves over and says, come on, Dale, help me out, hook me up. There we go. I knew it's just a matter of a lap or two until Bobby Labonte went by. Now, Martin's going to try to come back on the inside.
Labonte slid up. Yep. A little high and gave Mark the chance, but I think that Labonte's still going to hold him off. Yep.
Let's say hello to Jim Baycar, father of Jimmy Baycar, who's the crew chief on the Interstate Batteries car. Jim had a stroke yesterday and is in a hospital down in North Carolina, and we certainly wish him well.
Here's 3rd place, Ricky Rudd's on board camera. He watches 1st and 2nd. Single file behind the leaders. There you see Jim Sauter, who's driving the 42 car today, substituting for Kyle Petty. Martin with an inside look.
Couldn't quite do it.
Well, we just passed the 157 laps to go mark, so we bring you a Heinz 57 field summary.
Once again, in parentheses on the right side of the driver's name where they started in the field. Wally Dallenbach up in 13th, started 25th. Good progression.
Jake Strickland, who ran up in 1st and 2nd for a while, has slid back to 15th.
Jim Sauter picked up 12 spots in that Coors Light car. And once again, Martin is not, looks like he is not going to let Labonte get away this time.
Staying right with him and working on him, trying to. Here's 3 abreast again, down the front straightaway. Span sandwich there, Lake Speed in the middle.
Jarrett and Wallace are the thread, and Span car in the middle. Now Earnhardt comes along and makes some noise along with Ernie Irvin.
And Earnhardt goes up the hill. No, he leaves room for Lake Speed. That might cost him a couple of spots because he's got a lot of cars lined up right behind him. Rusty goes by, and Lake Speed goes by.
On that outside groove, you can keep the car wound up so good up there. Now, if your car is really working good after the tires get hot, well, then that inside groove works a little bit better. But not working Earnhardt right now.
No, and he just caught out on the inside, cannot get to the back of the race, top of the racetrack. Continues to lose positions as Labonte and Gordon goes by. Now he will sneak in between Hamilton and Gordon.
Almost a quarter of the race gone already. Earnhardt trying to pass Jeff Gordon.
Shows you how smart I am.
And we got a spin.
Johnny Benson
Off of turn 4, and everybody scrambles, and nobody is hurt badly, I don't think.
and Johnny Benson keeps going.
Fall in line to 4. You got your caution.
I think Hut Strickland had to take evasive action and took to the pit road to complete that lap, but he's okay. So a spin, but no serious damage to anybody. However, it does bring out our 3rd caution of the afternoon on lap number 50. We had 3 cautions in this race a year ago.
Johnny Benson did a great job in the IROC race yesterday, finished 2nd. Listen to this and watch. Wow.
And so we now know it was Wally Dallenbach who spun originally.
Yeah, and Benson just made a 360 and kept going.
And Michael Waltrip got lucky. And so did Sterling Marlin.
Yeah, great. And saw all that smoke coming up in front of them. They were fortunate.
Folks, how would you like to be running 180 miles per hour and drive into a wall of smoke and not have a clue what's on the other side?
No problem. Well, are they going to pit, guys?
Well, I don't know. They're at 50 laps, and they could go the rest of the way if they stop now, don't you think?
Well, they could go the rest of the way with one more pit stop. So I don't know, or with two more pit stops. Two more pit stops. So we're back in that same situation we had when we started.
Exactly.
So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see.
Dallenbach has some damage on the rear end of the car. Here's some calculations that are going on.
Oh, they're burning those Bob, you'd never be a gas calculator.
Nope, never figure that deal out. Here's Jerry Punch. What are they going to do, Jerry?
Well, the discussion between driver and crew is hot and heavy right now. What they're basically saying is if we come in and do a gas and go, just what Ned and Benny said a moment ago, they could make it on 2 more stops. So we'll wait and see. The driver has to make a decision as he will take that hard left-hand turn and come down pit road at 65 miles an hour. And basically, once one makes a turn, they're all going to come as they head for us here on pit road. Some may take tires. Remember, the top 5 only took 2 right side tires, but they had no tire wear at all in the Busch race on left side yesterday. Ricky Rudd's tied forward. No tire change. Just gas and go. Let's check with Bill Weber.
Bobby Labonte and his crew talked it all over. He came in, obviously. Rudd's already on his way back out. Right sides for Bobby Labonte. This will be a 4-tire stop. Like Speed is out. Earnhardt is out. The 28 is out. Martin is out. The 77, still 4 tires going on. The 18, the 94, 88, 5, and 7 rush out. Now the 90, Bobby Labonte way back in the pack with a 4-tire stop. Wow.
Man.
A lot of activity on pit road while the third caution of the day waves over Michigan International Speedway. We'll be right back. We show you why we are under the yellow flag.
Here's from our speed shop in turn 4. That's Wally Dallenbach making contact on the wall. There we see Johnny Benson making a 360. Michael goes by. Sterling Marlin goes by.
And now from the onboard of Michael Waltrip.
He gets loose. He tries to save it. He does it. He goes up, backs in the wall. Benson turns under him, and he turns the wheel so abruptly that he spins. And watch Michael drive through this smoke.
Wow.
And watch as it transition to the back bumper. And he's still spinning. And Sterling had just, again, forced it. He was able to get by.
Wally Dallenbach remains on pit road as they get his car fixed again.
And we saw all those cars go down pit road and make a pit stop. To me, that was a statement that tells us we can make it on 2 more pit stops. Otherwise, I don't really know why they would have stopped.
Here's Ricky Rudd back out front again. He only took on fuel, so he's making a statement too with his pit stops, just taking on fuel. Some of them took on 2 tires, some of them took on 4 tires.
And we would assume there by showing that AutoZone off-track timing that Bobby Labonte changed tires and Ricky Rudd didn't. Jerry? Well, I guess Jerry's mic is not working, so we'll get that repaired and get back to him just a little bit later. Yes.
Right.
Rudd, Speed, Irvin, Earnhardt, and Mark Martin are the top 5 now under the caution, getting set for more green. As a result of the man of the race last week being Jeff Bodine. Jeff actively supports the Brain Injury Association, the March of Dimes, and the United Cerebral Palsy, and also the North Carolina J.C. Burn Center. Jeff Bodine has climbed from 26th to 18th in points in the last 4 races, and all of his wins in modern era on road courses, Watkins Glen, Sonoma, and Riverside.
No, what that says, he has won all on all the road courses. David Spain.
Well, Bodine's out to do it again here today, and again with the fuel mileage. He was one of the drivers who made a gas-and-go pit stop only on this yellow, and it's moved him into the top 10. He qualified 29th, so that certainly paid off. Meanwhile, the problems continue for Rick Mast. They had a long stop trying to get a rubber in the car. That just won't have its way to loose.
Back to racing here at Michigan International with Ricky Rudd at the top of the field right now.
Oh, something's wrong. Is that Ernie Irvin up high? He goes to the corner and it just went straight. I don't know if he's going to be able to. Martin goes blowing by. I don't know if he just got loose and the tires were not dusted off well enough.
I'd say that's the situation. He did not take on any fuel, any tires. He just took on fuel. Here's a change for the lead.
Whoa,
Lake Speed goes for it.
Speed go to the bottom of the track and try to get by Ricky Rudd, but not quite successful.
Can't quite make it. Rudd comes back, leads the lap.
does.
Lake Speed's car owned by Harry Mellon. He lives about 4 miles from this speedway.
Now he's got the lead in the turn 1.
Let's see if we can figure out exactly on the replay what happened to Ernie Irvin. He goes in the corner in 3rd place, turns the car down in the race in the corner, and all of a sudden just goes straight up the hill. Jerry Punch, what happened?
Larry McReynolds said that a lot of rubber buildup on the tires. They saw it in the last practice yesterday. That's when Rusty Wallace tagged the wall coming out of 4. Ernie said he thought he had the tires clean. He went in the corner and turned the wheel, and the car wouldn't turn. All the rubber came off, and the car went straight.
So Ernie Irvin is back at speed, but still slipping back. He's now back to 5th spot.
Coming back, got Bill Elliott on the outside, and looks like Elliott's going to take the spot away. I don't know about that.
Look at Terry Labonte coming up in there. Started back in, what, 22nd position? And there he is, up there fighting for 5th.
Now we're coming up on 57 laps completed, so another Heinz 57 field summary. Lake Speed leading for only the 2nd time in 1996. His first time at the front of the field came at the Brickyard 400 just a couple of weeks ago.
I'm talking to Harry Mellon Thursday night. Ned and I went to a dinner here, and he's very, very proud of this team and what they've been able to accomplish this year. Oh, there we go. Jeff Gordon dives to the bottom of the racetrack. Goes by Jim. That's Jim Sauter in the 42. Kyle Petty's not driving this week.
Sauter doing a great job in that car today.
Racing for 12th, 13th on back.
And there's Bobby Labonte. Remember, he changed 4 tires that last time, that last pit stop. And Jeff Gordon might have changed 4 tires.
On the outside, one on the outside.
Spotter's telling one of those drivers.
Four on the outside, one inside, 3 wide, you're in the middle. Clear high.
We know who that is.
One on the outside, clear low, clear low. Clear low. Clear all around you.
Clear all around. It's gas it and go. And look at that 24 on the bottom.
They're running good down there.
But look at Bobby Labonte on the outside. Goes by Jeff Gordon, Sterling Marlin. And back up front.
Meanwhile, Mark Martin is chasing down those running ahead of him, namely Rudd and Lake Speed. And Martin is also down on the bottom of the racetrack.
He's following that Dale Jarrett line. He saw Dale down there, passed him before that, and he said, I think I'll try that, see if my car works there. In 1 and 2, he was low. Now see if he can do the same thing in 3 and 4. That white line, can you keep that left front tire on the white line? He does a pretty good job of it.
Yes, he does. Picked up some speed, not enough to pass Ricky Rudd, but he picked up a little speed. But you can see Rudd pull away a little bit there as he come off the turn because he had that momentum as a result of being on that outside lane.
And Rudd is closed up right on the back bumper of Lake Speed.
And from Rudd's car, we see Martin moving to the inside. They're side by side off of 2.
And Mark takes a spot. Rudd closes in behind him. Rudd just cannot keep his car down on the racetrack like Mark can.
Yeah, I don't think he has. Well, Mark put on left side tires this last time, and that probably is helping him keep his car down there.
Bobby Hillen having a good run. There's Rusty Wallace beside him. Last week's winner, Jeff Bodine, with Bobby Labonte and Jeff Gordon and Sterling Marlin and Dick Trickle. This is 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th.
And there's for the lead as Mark tries to get off turn 2 on the inside of Lake Speed. Can't quite make it. Meanwhile, Bill Elliott on the outside of Dale Earnhardt takes that spot away. So put Elliott up in 4th spot.
The first 6 running right together.
4 Fords out front.
And 3 abreast once again as Sterling Marlin is in the middle this time of Jeff Bodine and Jeff Gordon. Pole sitter Jeff Burton also back in this group.
And back to the lead. Here we go. Mark tries it again. This time did not get the run that he had on Ricky Rudd. Falls in behind Lakes. Well, did he?
Yep.
It's a good thing I'm not a spotter. I probably just had clear eyes and run into somebody.
Mark right down on that inside. Once again, he's got a run coming off the floor now. I think he's got it cleared this time.
Martin goes back to the front of the field.
And Lake Speed just blows by him on the straightaway. Wow.
Meanwhile, Martin went up the track and nearly blocked the path of Rudd.
Wow.
These guys are having a heck of a race, aren't they?
I love it. Attaboy, Martin. Now, Blake on the inside. Lake, turn left. Meanwhile, Dale Jarrett is continuing his march towards the front on the inside, that low groove. There he is. He is in 7th spot right now. Boy, he's on that. Ooh, he's below the white line. That's the apron.
Well, it was 5 years ago this weekend that Dale won his very first NASCAR Winston Cup race, beating Davey Allison by inches. Hey, the Spam team is up and at him, aren't they?
I'm telling you, that is great.
Here's Norman Davis.
Exactly. You're exactly right. It's a celebration every lap here, in part because Speed has never had this kind of success here in Michigan. Now, the team, Melling Racing, is headquartered just down the road, but the best that Link has been able to run here is 5th. He did it twice, most recently in '88. So for him to be up front leading laps is cause for celebration for the Spam team.
Finished 17th in this race last year. Lake Speed at the moment in 2nd spot.
That's Peter Guile there, the blue shirt, not with the Spam on it, with the striped shirt that builds the engines for this 9 car.
So it's Mark Martin leading over Lake Speed. Ricky Rudd 3rd, Bill Elliott 4th, and Dale Earnhardt is 5th. 65 out of the 200 laps have been completed. While we ride along with Michael Waltrip, we'll show you a Fran Field summary as 69 laps are in the books now.
Michael Waltrip is running.
He'll be coming up here in just 2 minutes. There he is.
Yeah, all of those cars still in the lead lap. And we got another page that shows you more cars in the lead lap. 36 of them, in fact.
Wally Dallenbach crashed. Dave Marcus is out of the race. Kenny Wallace crashed. Chad Little had a mechanical problem that sent him behind the wall. And Robert Presley also had an encounter with the wall. And the manufacturer's race has really tightened up here. After 20 events, Ford has won 7 the last 11, but Chevy has just a 4-point margin on Ford in the NASCAR Winston Cup manufacturer's race. And we have a bunch of Fords running up front here at Michigan. Michael Waltrip trying to squeeze between the wall and Jim Sauter.
Scotty's still there.
Told him somebody else was coming with Michael, but Sauter's car was quite good down on the inside also.
So I said, well, I got to. I guess I'll just have to hit the gas on this low groove. Back to the lead. 28, that's Ernie Irvin and Dale Earnhardt race for 4th.
5th. No, it is 4th. You're right. No, it's for 5th.
Okay.
That was only your second one, huh?
Dale Jarrett.
Well, we got to run down on that inside that time.
Still running that bottom lane, bottom groove around this racetrack.
Not going to have his entrance into the turn. It might cost him.
And Bobby Labonte, who ran so well earlier on, there he is on the top of the racetrack, the green car. Made a 4-tire change. He caught this group about 3 or 4 laps ago, but then I'm surprised that he's not able just to march through this group.
Well, I thought he would. He caught him pretty quickly. He was, a while back, we saw him racing with Jeff Gordon back there at the pack, but now he has driven away from Jeff Gordon and has caught this pack, but as you say, just caught up to him and sitting there, maybe just sort of watching what's going on up ahead of him there.
He could be just watching it, everything as it happens. And Dale Jarrett evidently slipped down in the corner because Ernie and we see Terry Labonte going by on the outside.
guess you could put this in the category of the cream rising to the top. Remember, at the beginning of the race, I told you that only 2 of the top 10 starters have won, and only 3 had won here. Well, now 7 of the top 10 have recorded a victory here at Michigan. And both of those drivers right there have, of course, Dale Jarrett and Rusty Wallace.
Rusty Wallace, the most recent winner here in the NASCAR Winston Cup Stock Cars. That was in June.
Jarrett goes to 5th.
Rusty Hill pushed him out there that time. 7th at least.
Back to the second place battle. Ricky Rudd, the tide ride, had a run a moment ago, not able to make the pass as they come off about 100,000 people that's here today. Great crowd at the Michigan International Speedway. Of course, they've always had great crowds here since the 70s, and NASCAR started coming here. There's always been great crowds. Those two have lost to Dale Jarrett by running side by side.
Don't take off with the lap or so. 2 cars running side by side can lose a lot of distance.
For you Chad Little fans, Chad has returned to the racetrack 48 laps down. Once again, 2nd and 3rd, Lake Speed and Ricky Rudd, and that's how much distance they have between themselves and the leader of the race, Mark Martin. There's Jack Roush watching his driver set the pace here after his driver, Jeff Burton, won the pole for this race on Friday. Back in just a moment. And the onboard camera from Rusty Wallace does not tell a favorable story for the Miller Ford. He is driving it straight to the truck. He just suddenly dropped off the pace. He was running in 9th, drove it right straight to the garage. The battle for 2nd rages on between Rudd and Speed. And Mark Martin continues to lead, but who's in 2nd?
Lake Speed is, as hard as they're racing, they're not losing that much ground to Mark Martin. But I would imagine Mark is in front and just really trying to take it easy because a full window. These cars, to make it on 2 more stops, they've got to run 50 laps. Now the question is, can all these cars run 50 laps? If they can't, then they're going to lose if this thing goes green flag the rest of the way.
Well, those guys have had a great race. Lake Speed and Ricky Rudd.
Good to see Bill Elliott back in 4th spot for McDonald's car. Having a good run today.
Dave Despain has caught up with Rusty Wallace.
Rusty Wallace managed to get the grin on his face pretty quickly, despite what? What happened?
Yeah, blew an engine, must have broke a rod. That's what it felt like. It just it started seizing up real quick, and then it just broke out in a big bad noise.
Who's the guy to beat out there now that you're not going to get a chance to double this year?
It's too hard to tell right now. The 88 car looks awful strong to me, along with the Ricky Rudd's looking good too.
Fuel mileage derby has begun, but one of the all-time greats of that game won't be around for the finish of it.
8th in points coming in. Rusty Wallace will watch the rest of the race from the sidelines.
You're fortunate when you break the connecting rod and it doesn't go through the silent block, doesn't break the block, oil pan or something, and get oil, water, fluid on the racetrack and cause the car to spin.
And we have a car, looks like going up in smoke. That's Dick Trickle.
Yeah.
Boy. Sure was good. Yeah, it was good to see him up front again at the beginning of this race. He had dropped back to 11th position and now at the bottom of the track on the apron. Dick Trickle bringing the Heilig Myers Ford into the garage area.
And once again, engines a problem at this racetrack. Look at June of '96, the 8 cars that fell out, 7 engine related. August of '95, 11 of the 15 cars that fell out were engine related. And last June, 6 of 12.
And it's the 3rd engine related problem that we have had so far in the first 82 laps of the race today.
That's a rocker arm assembly there, and we see where the push rod has broken, but He said a connecting rod. Rusty Walsh broke a connecting rod a moment ago. Our producer made a mistake.
We'll look for one of those and get back up to you.
There's a connecting rod, and that's a good one laying there, and there's a broken piece laying on top of it.
That connects the crankshaft with the piston. Of course, the big brown part there at the bottom bolts onto the crankshaft, and up at the top, it bolts onto the piston. Runs it up and down in the engine. Here's Ken Schrader making a move, or trying to, but Derek Cope up on the outside in the 12 car.
Schrader's in 19th, Cope 18th. And
Somebody brushed the wall. Who was that? And that's John Andretti.
Yes.
Brushed the wall when he came off that second corner. Didn't steer him none. He drives down to the bottom. Let's make sure. I think he brushed the wall.
Let's look at it again.
Yeah. He's down on the inside of Michael Waltrip, and he comes up. Well, no, that's not the place. That's not it. Well, that follows a little bit long to go down into the next turn.
Here we go.
As he comes off the corner, he goes up high and.
Yep. He flips the wall.
Yep, sure did.
Might not hurt it too much.
Let's see if Michael Waltrip's camera. If he just passed Michael, we could pan over. We could tell all about this, couldn't we? But right now, he's probably content to ride back behind Michael Waltrip. Kmart, Little Caesars car, John Andretti. Boy, a lot of rumors swirling around about that car.
Will he be back with the team in 1997?
And will Tim Brewer stay with the team?
Will Tim Brown, right?
Down here's Dale Earnhardt making a move on 4th place. Bill Elliott.
He doesn't stick on the bottom like Dale Jarrett does, so.
Speaking of Jarrett, there he is.
There he is. Earnhardt still has a good run on Bill Elliott, and he will
try to take the position.
Thank you very much. I was trying to search for a word.
There he does.
And he comes off the corner, does that slide job in front of Elliott. Now, Dale Jarrett, now we know he can run on the bottom of the racetrack. We've seen it all day, all afternoon. Looking there as Jarrett goes down. Earnhardt back on the bottom of the racetrack. You don't turn as many RPMs down there, so you don't abuse the engine as bad on the bottom of the racetrack. When you move up, you make this racetrack a couple of hundred feet longer and turn it more RPMs. But Elliott not able to stay on the bottom of the racetrack. He's running that high groove. That time he's in the low side of the racetrack.
And he could have his car geared a little bit higher, and just to run that high groove to keep it freed up a little bit more.
If you think you're not going to be able to stay on the bottom of the racetrack, you've got to change the gear ratio. If you gear for the bottom of the racetrack and have to move up, you really create problems for your engine.
Now the interval between second place Lake Speed and 3rd place Ricky Rudd is closing in. It's now down to about a 2 or 3 car length advantage, maybe even less than that.
These guys have been going at it for a while.
Rudd has
still staying right there with Mark Martin. He's not that far ahead of him.
He's led 6 laps. He started 23rd and currently in 3rd position. So it's still Mark Martin, who has not won a NASCAR Winston Cup race in 1996, leading this event over Speed and Rudd. Dale Earnhardt 4th and Dale Jarrett 5th. Back with more right after these messages. ESPN Speed World today at Michigan International Speedway for the GM Goodwrench Service Dealer 400. Being brought to you by Valvoline Durablend, the #1 selling semi-synthetic motor oil. By Firestone, America's tire since 1900. And by McDonald's, on the track and in our restaurants. Just watch us cook. Well, somebody cooked a little too much on the Spam car. It has come in for what I would describe as an unscheduled pit stop.
That's a little bit early, Bob. He ran about 42 laps since they made a pit stop. We would have thought they'd be able to go a little bit farther than that, but maybe not.
By the way, speaking of cooking and cooked engines, Dick Trickle and Dave Despain.
Dick Trickle, great qualifying run, led a lap for the first time in a couple of years. What ended the day?
Well, whatever it was, took a piston. I probably, could have been a valve drop, or just a piston broke. But, I want to give the Heilig Meyer family a lot of credit. We got a family of retail stores out there. Remember, we furnish America, and the guys are doing a good job for me. We keep you know, we keep drumming along and we're going to ring that bell. And I'm pretty happy because we are competitive. We just got to get some good days.
All right, to see who will ring the bell today, let's go back topside.
So Trickles out of the race. Lake Speed has relinquished his second position to a pit stop, and we're watching the field come through here.
So Lake Speed only can run 43 laps on a tank of fuel. He's in trouble if this thing continues green.
Which means that, yeah, he's got 2 more pit stops to make. After he's already made one.
Yes.
The others, some of them will be able to go on 2 pit stops.
There's the field going by.
That's Chad Little, who's back out on the racetrack in 38th position. He lost 48 laps making repairs to his car. There's first and second, Martin and Rudd.
And as high as Rudd is running around the racetrack, you would think that he'd be burning more fuel than Mark Martin. And he closes up right on the back bumper of Mark Martin. And once again, he goes high on the racetrack. Martin able to stay on the bottom.
Pretty good graphic description of the clock in that shot.
And how they can work, either one can work equally as well.
Chad Little, we documented he's got back out there, but he's been given a black flag now.
Dale Jarrett running in third place since the last caution flag. Dale Jarrett is 9th, and it has been a steady climb up to his 3rd position now as we near the halfway point of this event.
Take a look at our AutoZone on-track interval, laps 91 and 95. We've seen Wally Dallenbach slow. He's running a little bit faster consistently than Mark Martin, about 0.2 of a second faster than the leader, Mark Martin.
That's about what my call shows.
Jeff Bodine, the QBC car, winner last week, is slow.
Jeff, 11th position, comes in. Good strategy last week at the Glen to win that race.
Well, he hasn't gotten to the 100-lap mark yet. He's about 3 laps short, but he might be able to go on 1 more pit stop.
Other cars making pit stops. Hud Strickland and John Andretti are in while we watch the Jeff Bodine crew working on the QBC Ford.
I'm sure that most of them would like to go to that 100-lap mark, but Dale Jarrett's not going to be able to do it. He's coming in right now.
Here's Dale. Was 3rd. Jerry Punch, he's headed toward you.
Well, Dale might have been able to make it to 100 laps today, but why roll the dice this early? Decided to go ahead and rather be safe than sorry. Remember, he fell short last year, so we're going to last June as well. He had to come in and pit. And we'll change right side tires and left side tires. And Dale made a 4-tire change on lap 33, came in on lap 50, and changed only the right side tire. Then we'll change all 4 tires, fill it full of fuel, get it completely full, and then he hopes they can make it on 1 more pit stop. He's down and away.
Tick of the watch under 20 seconds.
Great pit stop, 4 tires are filling that thing all up with gasoline. As he comes off the pit road, the 6th car, the leader, Mark Martin, goes by. Dale Earnhardt's coming down pit road. Sterling Martin.
He's wiggling. I think Earnhardt's out of fuel.
Oh, wow.
He's trying to get to his pit, which is down toward the first turn. Bill, he's made it.
The Goodwrench Chevrolet running as it gets here. This will be a 4-tire stop, and fuel is what they anticipate. They clean the windshield. Now the car shuts off. The car has stalled. Earnhardt gets it refired. The second tank of fuel going in. Left side tires off. Mark Martin also coming down. Sterling Marlin is on pit road. Earnhardt is away. Marlin on pit road. They grab the car. He returns to the track with the winch. Wrench is in the back of the 4 car. Sterling Marlin stops on pit road, looking for some help. Gets someone to a 37 car to run out and grab the wrench. Sterling Marlin returns to the race.
Boy, thank goodness for friends on pit road, huh?
I'm telling you.
Ernie is in, Jerry.
Scheduled pit stop for Ernie Irvin. They're going to work changing right side tires on the Texaco Havoc Ford Thunderbird. Now around to the left side of the car. Same race car that finished 2nd at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Routine pit stop, 4 tires, just like teammate Dale Jarrett did. Let's check into the Burton pit.
Jeff Burton, our pole sitter, has already got his tires. His car returns to the track. Now Bill Elliott trying to get his car fired. He returns. Now Mark Martin pulling into his pit stall. and this is expected to be a 4-tire change. Ricky Rudd also went on pit road. Jerry Punch.
Ricky Rudd ran 100 laps on left side tires and only changed 2 rights at 50 lap mark. Has run the entire first half of the race on the same left side they come off, and they still look awfully good. Kudos to Goodyear's run is down and away with a 4-tire stop.
And Mark Martin pulls out and goes over and turns in front of him, and he will stay in front of Ricky Rudd's car.
Dale Jarrett's coming up on them. As they come get up their speed, Jarrett comes into turn 1. Whoever comes out ahead is going to be in the leader of this group, although Terry Labonte has not stopped yet, and Terry has led a lap.
Ever see Dale Jarrett come off the corner, the blue car? And it looks like that Mark Martin and Ricky Rudd maintain their position.
So when Terry Labonte does make the pit stop, he will give up the lead once again to this threesome, including Martin Rudd and Dale Jarrett. Terry Labonte did make a pit stop while we were away, but we forgot Darrell Waltrip, who is also off sequence on pit stops. He has been leading. Now he is coming in, Jerry.
And remember, Bob, he's out of sequence because he pitted with a handful of cars at lap 10. They had the problem with the car pushing, came in and made a chassis adjustment, and also made sure the rubber wasn't out of the right rear. DW so excited about that great qualifying effort. 3 wide in the front straightaway. Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte is a sandwich, and Ernie Irvin up high. As we're back in the pits now, watching Pete Peterson and company. They've changed right side tires only, made a huge chassis adjustment to try to loosen the car up, and he's down and away.
These 6 cars are putting on quite a show as Darrell Waltrip goes back into competition. These 6 cars running right together down the backstretch, and Jeff Gordon moving to the inside of Bobby Labonte.
That's a battle for 5th through 10th. It's 5th through 9th. There's a 10th place car. Jeff Gordon.
They're running about 9.5 seconds behind the leader, Mark Martin.
And the halfway Gatorade money was won by Mark Martin. That's $10,000 he picked up. There he is.
And Hut Strickland has just lost a lap. He was the last car on the lead lap in 32nd position, so we have 31 cars now on the lead lap, and Mark Martin is the lapper.
And he's pulling away from Dale Jarrett, who's gotten around Ricky Rudd. They raced side by side for a couple laps, and Martin came up on that lap traffic and picked up their ground.
There we see this battle for second place. Jarrett, the blue car, the 4th quality carrier in second. And Ricky Rudd's tied car is third.
Bill Elliott was running in the top 10.
He ran about 5th. But I mean, this stuff, and I don't. Where is he?
He's dropped back to 14th.
Wow. Wonder what happened there. But you know, when you got to make green flag pit stops, if a lug nut falls off a tire or a lug nut jams in a socket, that could easily cost you 5 or 6 positions as close these cars are running.
Here once again we see the difference in lines being run here today as Rudd is at the top of the track and Dale Jarrett in the low group.
A 4th place car, Lake Speed, there he is.
Running all by himself. Oh, 100 yards. Something either way.
Joe Nemechek, the Burger King car, going a lap down to Mark Martin. Nemechek is running 30th spot.
Now we get back from 4th place Lake Speed right there, back to 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. And there's 12th.
Michael Waltrip.
There's Bill Elliott.
Yep. Bobby Hamilton, John Andretti, Barry Cope.
Kenny Wallace got back out there, and he's in the pits right now, but he's 81 laps behind, 71 laps behind. Kenny Wallace, who crashed the leader earlier.
Mark's best finish finish in 1996, was second at Sears Point. The last time he won a race was at Charlotte last year.
You know, Bill Elliott, you saw him just showing how well he was running. Ever see Jim Gordon, Ernie, Earnhardt, Terry Labonte. This next group is headed by Ricky Craven. Ricky started 38th position and is now running 12th spot in that Kodiak car. So he's celebrating the birth of his new son in fine fashion.
Yes, he is. And Bill has more on Bill Elliott.
Well, he came into the pits, and Bill Elliott stalled the car, and they couldn't get the starter to work. So obviously he was here for a long time. They also had a little fuel spillover here, and a very small brief fire that was quickly extinguished. One crew member has got his pants like briefly caught on fire, but he's fine. He's back here working on the tires, so everything here is okay, and Bill's trying to work his way back up to the front.
Here is Dale Earnhardt and Terry Labonte. They're running 7th and 8th rather.
First and second place drivers in the point standings.
And Bobby Labonte looks like he has just completely lost the handle since the beginning of this race. Then, I mean, he was a rocket ship and just driving away.
He really was. I don't know. It could change. The track has changed some, and the chassis, or maybe he's still playing that fuel mileage. Although, you know, he and Terry certainly will be able to go the rest of the way on one more pit stop.
First and second in points right there. The leaderboard shows that Mark Martin has a 2.5-second advantage on Jarrett.
Bill Weber, what in the world happened with Bobby Labonte?
Oh, Benny, I just talked to Jimmy Maycar. They seemed pretty pleased. They were concerned about fuel mileage after their previous stop. Now, after they just stopped a few laps ago, I talked to Jimmy. He said the fuel mileage is good. They're running okay. That was their last set of scuffed tires, and they practiced much better on scuffs than they did on stickers. They have stickers currently sitting on the wall for their next stop. They do have one more set of scuffs, but it's 20-lap scuffs, and I don't really think they want to put those on. So I think race conditions will dictate which tires they put back on. But I think Bobby Labonte right now, they're pretty pleased with his condition on the racetrack.
Currently in 9th position, right behind Dale Earnhardt. And there is Jeff Burton, the pole sitter behind those two. Jeff eligible for the $30,000, the $60,800 in Unical bonus money. They're the top 5. We'll be back in just. Mark Martin is leading the GM Goodwrench Service Dealer 400 here at Michigan International Speedway. He has led now 60 of 117 laps.
But there's always a but. Dale Jarrett looks as though he might be getting a little bit closer to the 88 car. There comes Dale Jarrett. He's not that far behind him. What's that?
There's a little piece of debris out there, looks like. Hose or some roll bar
padding, maybe? Look for it. And you'd think that if it's roll bar padding, it would be light enough. The cars that going by at 180 miles an hour would blow it off the racetrack. So
that's a good talk. That might be a metal.
It is to the inside of the track on the backstretch, and certainly not in the racing groove.
Yep. .83 seconds behind is Dale Jarrett, behind the leader.
Last time clock, I think it's about 2.5 seconds.
And Jerry has more on Dale Jarrett, who's closing in.
Bob, a moment ago, Alan Bryce, the NASCAR official, came over and asked Todd Parrott to ask your driver to look in turn 3 when he goes by and let us know what that debris is, whether it's just a piece of plastic or maybe a piece of rubber or padding, and let us know what it is. Well, it's a moot point because we're going to go ahead and put the caution out and get it off the racetrack, so they'll all be coming in anyway. What I was trying to say was that Dale Jarrett could not make it on one more stop.
So Lewis said, that's a piece of pipe laying over there. We need a caution flag.
That is a very, very dangerous situation. Huh?
But I don't know whether you can tell what that is laying there, not going by there at 185, 90 miles an hour.
In any case, the caution has come out. Our 4th of the day, and it comes out on lap 121.
Well, this is going to be a break for a lot of drivers, really, because they had a pretty good margin on a lot of good drivers back there that can catch up now.
80 laps to go here at Michigan. It's Martin, Jarrett, Rudd, Speed, Gordon, the top 5. We'll be right back. Under caution here at Michigan International for the 4th time this afternoon because of debris on the racetrack, and pit stops have been completed here along the main straightaway. It's Wally Dallenbach that's lined up just behind the pace car, but he is 29 laps behind because of his crash earlier in the day. Now to the pit stops that just occurred.
All right, there we see triple split. Mark Martin on top, Dale Jarrett, and Ricky Rudd. Rudd's car to the right side. Mark Martin just changing left sides. Jarrett's crew goes to the right side. Now we'll see what happens. Mark all done. And Rudd only changes, Mark changes left side, Rudd changes right, and Dale Jarrett changes forward. So we can see the cars leaving the pits. Ernie Irvin is leaving, Bill Elliott. There comes Johnny Benson, Ricky Craven, Ward Burton, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Jarrett. So Jarrett loses a lot of track position. Earnhardt changed right sides only. Bobby Labonte changed 4 tires, as he has every time there has been a caution flag.
So we're going to take another break here while we are under caution and return in just a moment to Michigan International. It's a GM Goodwrench Service Dealer 400. Mark Martin is lined up right behind the pace car, so he will have the lead as we go back to green, and we will go back to green on lap 126.
Ernie Irvin, Ricky Rudd, Bill Elliott,
Johnny Benson,
Ward Burton, Ricky Craven from 38 starting spot up to 7th. Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon's in cars. He looks at Ricky Craven. There we go. I've been telling y'all, just read yourself, folks. Save me the trouble.
Well, we're seeing a lot of 2-tire changes here today, and I'm sure that they took a lesson from the Busch race yesterday when Jeff Purvis went all the way, didn't change tires, and so apparently Goodyear has brought a great tire here for this Michigan International Speedway.
Same tire they use at Charlotte and Atlanta.
29 cars on the lead lap, and there you see the rest of the field with 5 officially listed as out of competition, including Rusty Wallace.
Trickle and Wallace both lost engines.
Now we got some lap cars to deal with this time, fellas. I think in the other cautions we did not have, because everybody was on the lead lap except for those that were out of it before when the
cars off. Bobby goes green flag.
And the crowd once again rises to its feet to see the restart of the race. Slower cars to the inside of the track, those a lap down. And Ernie Irvin taking a look here at Mark Martin as they head for turn number 1.
Ricky Rudd's taking a look on the outside of Ernie Irvin.
8-car Butch Strickland, he is a lap down.
Rudd and Irvin are side by side and wheel to wheel into 3 rather.
Irvin maintains that second spot. If he didn't hit the fence, he missed an awfully good chance.
He raised a little dust there.
And he did hit it. He hit it hard. He's low at the bottom of the racetrack. Slow as Michael Walker. Tough break. There we see all the cars have gone by.
Michael was running 14th, but got a little wide coming out of the corner. Here it is once again.
Jeff Gordon was awfully high to the well.
Labonte hit the wall.
Yeah, he sure did.
Man, all those cars was close to that wall, wasn't they?
Michael Waltrip coming in. There's the damage on the right side. Dave Despain is right there.
The Wood brothers are all over it. They go to the right side, which he hit pretty hard. Part of the task, of course, is the routine tire change. The rest of it is damage assessment and trying to pull the sheet metal back away and then get him back out as quickly as possible. Then compare notes and see if it's going to need more work. Michael says that's good enough. Let's go.
But he's going to lose a lap, Dave, as the leaders come by. He's still going down pit road.
And look at all these cars coming down, trying to get the best position they can.
Let's listen now to Michael Waltrip's on board.
But you couldn't hear much, but you could see just how hard he hit the wall.
That's about where Rusty Wallace hit the wall yesterday in practice. Scraped the side of his Miller Ford. They were able to repair it. No major damage. I think there's been a ball joint, but other than that, no chassis damage.
Bobby Labonte, who was one of the quickest cars earlier on, trying to get back to the front on the inside. Derek Cope, Badcock Furnishings car on the outside, and there's a Spam mobile in front of these cars. Earnhardt and Labonte.
Here's the Bud race recap. Mark Martin, 70 of the first 127 laps. 12 lead changes, 4 cautions for 18 laps, and the average speed is near 146 miles an hour. 5 bonus points go to these drivers for leading a lap. Bobby Labonte, the second highest number of laps led so far. And now we have those that have dropped out of competition, and that list will include Presley, Marcus Little, Rusty Wallace, and Dick Trickle.
Jeff Gordon making a move on Bill Elliott.
This is for 4th place.
Burton in the car number 22, Vincent in the yellow number 30.
Taylor Jarrett's going to try to make it 3 abreast. He's still running right on the bottom of the racetrack.
Now, he's one of those drivers that took on 4 tires during that pit stop. How that'll play out as time goes by, let's see.
Time will tell.
I think it played to his advantage because if it goes green the rest of the way, then he would only have to change right side tires when he makes his final pit stop. But maybe others will only have to change left side tires this time, so I suspect they'll only change right side tires when they make their final pit stop.
Jeff Gordon was not able to get by Bill Elliott, but he was able to maintain his position on Dale Jarrett. And look at Johnny Benson. Gets a great run on those 2 cars, trying to make it 3 abreast. Looks like he's not going to get it done.
Well, he had a short turn to make once he got down. We talked about that all day, but boy, it really means a lot when you have to make a short turn going in there. It just messes up your line, and your ability to go through that turn fast.
Up front, meanwhile, Ernie Irvin and Ricky Rudd are both chasing Mark Martin.
You know, Ernie kept talking about that when he came back, when he drove his first race, well, is your comeback complete, what have you. He said, well, it's not going to be until I'm racing for the championship. And I wonder if that 28 car was to win today, what he would think about, is his comeback now complete? He must have been an awfully good race car.
In the last 14 races here, Mark Martin has finished in the top 10 13 times. The exception to that was this race last year when he was 38, but he has pretty much been the dominator in the event so far. And back to this battle now between Bill Elliott and Jeff Gordon for 4th position.
Jeff's got a run coming off the turn.
Jarrett's going to duck in behind Jeff Gordon.
Now he's going to duck up behind Bill Elliott because he wants to get that angle into the turn. That's what he wants to do. Then try to turn down over there.
Jeff Gordon looking good here, Jerry.
Well, Bob, side by side with Bill Elliott now with Dale Jarrett right behind him. If Jarrett gets out from behind Gordon, that can actually help Gordon a little bit because Jeff is complaining the car is getting very, very loose. And now that Jarrett tucks up right on the rear. He may give Gordon a shove by, but they changed 4 tires, and he can't carry the momentum. The car just gets too loose in the corner, and Gordon has to back out. That gives Elliott a shot to come back alongside. But apparently the problem they've got the 24 car, the car gets very, very loose when the car gets right up behind him.
Well, he took over 4th position, and now Jarrett trying to take 5th from Elliott.
And Gordon will be able to pull away while they run side by side. Jarrett's not going to be able to clear Elliott coming off this turn, so they're going to have to backstretch side by side. And that will let Jeff Gordon pull away from him.
Johnny Benson closed up right on the back line. He's not going to try that career breath freak anymore. That did not work too well for him. Now, look at Benson. Whoa! Johnny going the racetrack down here. So now the boy.
You don't want to get too far up there. That gray, that is out of the groove and could be a little dusty and slick up there.
Johnny got him a run off that turn, got down on the inside of Elliott. He made that pass.
Remember 2 or 3 years ago when Johnny Benson ran his first race here in the NASCAR Busch Series, drove Ernie Irvin's car. And right there, he lost control and flipped 3 or 4 times.
Awesome flip.
So now, can these 2 cars go to the front?
Just 64 laps to go in this one. 136 miles. Goes to 4th. It's Martin, Irvin, Rudd, and now Dale Jarrett and Jeff Gordon, your top 5. We'll be back with more live coverage from Michigan International Speedway in just a moment of the GM Goodwrench Service Dealer 400. Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, Dave Despain, Bill Weber, and Dr. Jerry Punch back at Michigan International Speedway. 140 of 200 laps completed. There's your leader, Mark Martin, and second, Ernie Irvin. 3rd, Ricky Rudd, and along comes 4th place, Dale Jarrett.
About 2.5 seconds behind.
And there's a battle for Michael Walters. Back up speed pretty good in that sit-go forward.
But he's a lap down.
Yeah, after you make contact with the wall.
Here's Michael's onboard camera. He scraped the wall back in turn number 4 a few laps ago.
That Bobby Hillen on the inside now?
Yep. Now we have Lake Speed and Sterling Marlin running together, and that is, what, about 11th?
Yes.
Yes, it looks like it is 11th spot.
There are 5 drivers who have won in 1995 but have not won in 1996. Mark Martin won 4 times last year. Labonte 3, Rudd once, along with Burton and Kyle Petty. And Martin, Labonte, and Rudd have at least 1 career win here at this racetrack. So it could be that one of those guys is going to be eliminated from those lists. And 4 of the 5 are running in the top 10 right now. Bill Weber has more on the car of Mark Martin and how it's performing.
Well, if you take a look at it, Bob, as we all have seen, he's running real well. This team, the Valvoline bunch, really focused here this week. Last week at Watkins Glen, they had JR-17, one of their oldest cars in the Jack Roush stable. The car Mark is running here today is JR-60, a brand new race car, the first car that Roush Racing has built totally in-house. Mark hasn't won this year. He has 2 races, victories at this track. So this team came in here with a couple of goals. Not only to lead a lap, but to lead the most laps and to get their car, their driver, and their team into victory lane for the first time in 1996.
What are we seeing here, BP?
Well, that's a camera under the back of Mark Martin's car. You know, this is the gear. You keep talking about the gear. There we go. This aluminum baby over there, that's the oil oil tank or oil reservoir. That's where the engine oil is sent to and is stored to go back to the engine. That here is a right rear spring.
And that drive shaft turning about, what, 8,000 RPMs?
And yes, this is the drive shaft here, and it's turning about 8,400 RPMs.
What's that TM8 there?
Well, that's the sponsor logo. You got to get something on there, you know. And on the lines that we see, those lines that we see coming off the top of the rim, that fluid is pulled from the gear up to a radiator and cooled before it goes back into gear. And that is, let's see, Jack.
Hey.
Jack Roush.
Jack in the box. And there is his car, driven by Mark Martin, currently leading this race.
He won the IROC race here on this racetrack yesterday and the 1996 IROC Championship. Mark Martin is leading the Winston Cup race here today at the moment. There once again are the top three in the GM Goodwrench Service Dealer 400 at Michigan: Martin, Irvin, and Rudd.
And I tell you what, Mark Martin, as hard as he tries, just cannot pull away from those cars. They're just glued to his back bumper. It looks like they're going to stay there. And you know, Mid, did you tell me that Dale is getting a little bit closer to the lead?
He's picked up about a second on him in the last 8 or so laps. So he's Dale, and Jeff Gordon's coming right along with Garrett. So both of them are gaining on the leaders.
First four are Fords. Fords have won 8 of the last 11 races here at this time of year. Here is Jeff Burton running alongside Terry Labonte. This is for 9th position.
But he has to back off when he goes in that corner. Now he gets the car set, gets back on the gas. Here comes Sterling Marlin going around Ward Burton back there.
Ward Burton, something happened to his car. He's going to pit road.
Yep.
Now he's slowing. He missed pit road, but evidently he blew up or something.
Just all of a sudden, Ward was having a pretty good ride in that machine.
Motor shut off.
Motor shut off.
I've hit the goddamn thing.
Yeah, you can see a little smoke coming from it. Ward a little distance.
There's the other ignition.
Now, can he coast all the way around the racetrack, guys? We're getting in a time frame here as far as fuel mileage is concerned. He can't get back. There are some that might be able to make it. We're running the 145th lap right now. That would mean 55 laps, but some drivers might be able to go that far.
Burton slowing even more now. His car is over in turn number 2, and Jerry is with Bill Davis, the owner of the car.
Bill, cautions on the racetrack. What happened to Ward?
I don't know. He came down the straightaway and he said, boom, the motor just shut off. It didn't make noise, actually. It was like an ignition thing or something. Hopefully he gets switched and get it going.
All right, well, the caution on the racetrack is so apparently the engine shutting off on the MB&A Pontiac, but that's a moot point. They're going to try to get it coasted back, and now it's going to be a roll of the dice among those who can possibly make it on fuel. Let's go to Dave Despain.
Well, that was precisely the point we were going to make just before the caution came out. All this buildup, all the talk about fuel, clearly everybody was going to have to make one more stop. This stop comes at the ideal, perfect moment for some teams, but not for others. Remember Lake Speed's problem? He can only run 45 laps on a tank. Car's fast enough, but the mileage deal is not going to work out for him. Anybody who can go more than 50, maybe even 49, is going to have a shot at winning this thing. That'll mean a lot of guys have the potential to win the fuel derby, and as we said on NASCAR today, they may end up having to just slug it out for the best handling race car.
That's what's going to happen. I think all these lead cars can run 48 laps, and that's what they're going to have to run.
And when the green comes out, they're probably not going to be over 46 laps to go, so they should be able to make it, I believe.
All of this, of course, if there are no more yellows.
Yes. Bill Weber.
Yeah, this could be a big break for Dale Earnhardt. I just talked to Bobby Hutchins, some of the guys down there. They got a bad set of tires on the previous stop, and they weren't handling good on this set either. So this could be a big break for Dale, who'd slip back in the pack, come in, get new tires, get his way back to the front.
Yeah, he was back in 15th spot, Bill. Good point.
All right, let's watch the field now come down. They're entering turn number 4.
Now, who will take on 2 tires? Who will take on 4? Who will take on lefts? Who will take on rights? Who will take on none?
Will they opt for track position here with now 48 laps to go?
Boy, what a great shot it is. Every car going down pit road. And it's on the lead lap, I should say.
Which there are 27 of those.
Here's Jerry Punch.
Well, they pitted and Ernie Irvin jams the brake zone and slides the car almost sideways in the pits. They will change 2 right side tires, clean the windshield with 48 laps to go. Now they will come around and change left side. Let's go to Bill Weber.
Mark Martin already on his way. 2 right side tires and fuel 10.4. Jerry.
Back to left side tires for Ernie Irvin. He has made a 4-tire change, 20.5, and also the car number 10 of Ricky Rudd only changed wide side tires. She was only in the pits about 12.5 seconds.
Man.
Well, it was busy for a while, but now we focus our attention back on the racetrack, and we'll have the green flag in moments. Stay with us. Michigan, where Sterling Marlin will come in for a second time.
And they're going to change left sides. Was there a mix-up, Bill?
Benny, they just came back in. They're putting on left side tires, bolting on the left rear now. We'll double check after Sterling pulls away. Now Dale Earnhardt came in. They had trouble with the right front. Looked like Ludden nuts fell off on the right front tire. Hard to see from this side of the car. But what they were hoping would help them out may have actually hurt them. Earnhardt had a very long stop down here on pit road. Bill Elliott moves to the front, took on just 2 left side tires.
You know, we talked about fuel mileage and everything else. Jack Roush told me this morning, one thing that really helps fuel mileage is aerodynamics. The slicker the race car, the more mileage you get.
And the words that we have been hearing since we arrived here this week, fuel mileage. It played a huge role in last week's race at Watkins Glen on the road course when Jeff Bodine won that race. But as you indicated, aerodynamics, and a very important part of aerodynamics is the study in the wind track, in the wind tunnel. And this ESPN Track Fact is brought to you by Quaker State, the motor oil that exceeds the highest standards for engine protection. Here's Bill Weber.
NASCAR Winston Cup racing looks pretty simple on a Sunday afternoon. You've got your car, your crew, trying to keep the competition behind you. But for General Motors teams, the real race begins here in Warren, Michigan, at the GM Aerodynamics Laboratory. To you and me, it's the wind tunnel. This is NASCAR's biggest fan, capable of producing wind speeds up to 150 miles per hour. This was Team Sabco's first visit to the wind tunnel with the new 1996 Pontiac body style. The car is set on the plate in full qualifying trim for a baseline. The car in the tunnel is the same car that will race here today at Michigan. With the support of the General Motors engineering staff, the tunnel comes up to speed. The test is time-consuming and costly, 43 cents a second, but worth every cent. The smoke is a visual aid used to enhance the effect of the air over the car. The true results are measured by computer sensors. You need to go fast to win on the track, but in the wind tunnel, can your team win standing still?
Can you win a race with a car standing still? Not literally, no. But you can definitely take what you learn here and apply it to the racetrack and improve your performance. It's all part of the package. I believe this is a tool that has to be utilized to be competitive. And if you're not utilizing this tool, you're going to fall behind all the people that are using it.
So a slicker race car, very important in terms of fuel mileage also. Now, the pit summary, a couple of guys really lost some major track position. Look at Ernie Irvin, 2nd to 16th, and Jeff Gordon from 5th to 17th, both of those with 4 tire changes. Mark Martin is in the head of the class once again as we go back to racing, and Bill Elliott is running 2nd.
Bill goes high up in turn 2, and Mark Martin's able to drive away a little bit.
Bobby Labonte, the Interstate Batteries car who ran so strong earlier on, looks like he's in the best position.
And 3 abreast as Ernie Irvin and Dale Earnhardt go to the front. There's Rick Mast in the middle of that sandwich.
Well, they're back there in about 15th, 16th, and 17th place, trying to go to the front.
And Gordon is trying to go on the outside of Cope.
He missed a good chance of hitting the wall if he didn't.
This is a rough place to be, guys. And we've seen it so many times in the past when they start jockeying for positions late in the race. They want to gain every position they can. That's what we're talking about. Tough spot to be in.
Wow. That was so very, very close.
Ooh, Ernest Field, he don't mind getting in there and mixing it up yet. He's going to have to, though. Those leaders will get away, and they know it.
All these cars on the lead lap. John Andretti is running up at about 12th position. Jim Sauter there in the 42 car in substitution for Kyle Petty is having a good run.
Sauter had to get out of the throttle a little bit as John Andretti came up in front of him.
A lap ago, here's what happened as Ernie Irvan and Derek Cope got together.
Just making contact, those tires meet, and they almost lost control. That was close.
Ernie's still 3 abreast here in the middle. Now he gets down to 2 abreast.
We haven't talked much about Jimmy Spencer, but he's up in the top 10. He's 8th, as a matter of fact.
Jeff Gordon comes off the corner in the middle of a 3 abreast. Spencer right behind Jeff Gordon, Kenny Schrader, Michael Walter. Michael is a lap down.
Pole sitter Jeff Burton just ahead of Spencer in 7th spot. And look at John Andretti go to the back of the bottom of the track. Now Dale Jarrett
takes over 3rd place.
And Derek Cope has had to come to the pit, maybe because of that little encounter he had with Ernie Irvan.
They are changing the left sides. Looking at the left side. Yes, changing the left side. Dave?
Well, the concern was for the left side tires after that contact on the racetrack. They decided that it was worth the effort to go ahead and change them because the performance of the car had dropped off from that tire back out there.
Question is, did Ernie Irvan get any damage from that little incident with Cope?
Normally you'll see some smoke from sheet metal rubbing tires. We haven't seen any of that. How about it, Jerry?
Well, Ned, that's what they're trying to look for here in the Texaco half of the pit. They're watching the monitor, watching our feet. They're trying to see if they see any smoke whatsoever out of the right side of the 28 car. Here at Michigan, as you all know from Ernie Irvan's background and some of the other incidents, you don't take any chances. If you think you get a tire rubbing, you got to get on pit road. That's what Larry McReynolds and Robert Yates are talking about now. Should they call Ernie in and take a look at it? No one's reported smoke out of the right side of that car. They saw the 12 car make a pit stop, and as of yet, they are leaving their driver on the racetrack.
I don't see any evidence, do you?
No, I didn't see anything.
I tried to look pretty close. It came down the front straightaway here, and I didn't see anything.
Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Spencer are battling for 9th.
Here goes Spencer going around, going on the inside at least. No, he didn't get around it. He had a run on him, trying.
And now Kenny Schrader right up on the rear bumper of Jimmy Spencer. Just 38 laps to go in this race. 38 remaining as Mark Martin continues to hold on to the lead. Bill Elliott running 2nd, then Dale Jarrett, Ricky Rudd, and Terry Labonte. It's the GM Goodwrench Service Dealer 400 from Michigan International Speedway on ESPN Speed World. And it's being brought to you by Chevrolet. One car company has won more races in the history of NASCAR. Genuine Chevrolet. By Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. And by the more than 1,375 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. The caution has come out. What's the problem?
Look up here, Sterling Marlin, heavy contact.
Whoa.
And he started the car up, so we know Sterling's okay. He's trying to drive back to the pits.
But he's got a lot of damage to that Kodak film Chevrolet.
And Lake Speed also has damage to the Spam car. He's coming down pit road.
His roof flaps are up.
So he's been around somewhere. Spun somewhere if his roof flap is up.
And Michael Walter getting a lap back.
Yep,
Yeah.
he sure is. All of this with 33 laps to go. And there is the heavy damage on the Kodak Film Chevrolet driven by Sterling Marlin. He has had some serious encounter with the wall or something.
Yeah, that right front tire doesn't roll. You got some serious problems. Robert just looks at it and says, nah. This race will be over before we can fix it.
And there is Lake Speed, who apparently was also involved. Let's take a look and see if we can find out what happened here.
Sterling's on the inside. They go in the corner, and just like earlier in the race, we saw Sterling get loose getting in the corner. He had to correct it, and this time the Spam car, Lake Speed, was on the outside of him, and there was nothing he could do except go in the side of Lake's car. We saw him earlier in the race do that, only that time he was on the outside of another car.
So Lake was a victim of circumstances there.
Now let's see if anybody's going to come in.
I don't think so.
You think they're good to go, huh?
I think they're good to go. They don't want to give up that track position.
Well,
let's go to Jerry.
Well, Dale Jarrett will be the only one down on my end who might consider it because they're going to fake up front, and thus far they're all faking and they're all staying up. Of course, Elliott's going to make an entry on the pit road, but of the guys I talked to up here, Rudd in the 10 car, the 5 car, Labonte, Jarrett was the only one that was going to be very, very close. As Bill Elliott heads down pit road, he's headed for you, Bill Weber.
Bill Elliott had no choice. He had to pit. On the previous stop, they were doing 2 tires, then they dropped the jack, and Bill left. But they dropped the jack too soon and only got 1 can of gas in. He never would have made it to the finish. So Elliott is back in, 2 right sides. Now enough fuel to reach the finish. But that's very, very painful for the 94. One quick thing on Dale Earnhardt's car. In the last pit stop, when I said they had a lug nut problem on the right front, they actually reached in there to pull out a spring rubber. That's what took so long. Gene Dehart actually burned his hand and had to stick it in an ice chest to try and cool it off. But that's what took so long on the 3 pit stop last time in.
So a bit of a break for Bill Elliott, who can make this stop under caution, but it's still going to cost him some track position. We'll be right back. Still under caution here at Michigan. Let's go down to Jerry Punch.
Well, what's left of Sterling Marlin's Chevrolet sits behind a Sterling. Not a whole lot left. Fortunately, you're okay. That's the good news. What happened?
Well, we got in 3, and we had to go to back top off field and was coming back up through there. And we was a little loose on new tires, and I got on late going in, and I don't know if he knew I was there, but we just wrecked. We just ran out of room, and I got loose up under him, and about that time he was coming down and wouldn't know where to go. I slid up into him and got him, and got us both in the fence.
It's a tough break for Sterling Marlin. His car, the Kodak Chevrolet, completely pushed in. The whole front of the car almost sheared away as they pulled the sheet metal off. He is through for the day. And the tough break is he was 7th in point standings. Let's check in with Dave Despain.
Well, the Spam can is pretty well ripped open, and a good run for Lake Speed has come to a premature end. Sterling said, well, I kind of got into him. Maybe he kind of got into me. I don't know. It was sort of equivocating. Your opinion?
Big wide racetrack out there, and I only take up about 4 feet. I didn't turn into nobody. I mean, Sterling was coming and catching me, and I knew he was catching me, so, I was just running my line and let him go. I expected him to pass me there. I didn't expect him to turn me around, though.
But they're going to work on this thing pretty hard. You're going to try to get it back out there? Is there time?
It looks like they want to, doesn't it?
They're an ambitious bunch, right?
Ambitious group there for sure. Now, the Spam Melon Ford guys have been working really hard this year, and the car's been running better and better every week. And pretty soon here, we're going to get one of these long fly balls going to the fence.
All right. He's still got a smile on his face despite a disappointing day.
He did have a good race, no question about it, until this little incident involving himself and Sterling Marlin.
Yeah, Sterling gets in the corner and just gets the car a little bit loose. As he said, he got the car a little bit loose, and when he's corrected it, you have to go up the racetrack to save the race car. And this time when he goes up the racetrack, the 9 car is there.
So that's why we're under caution, and that's why we remain under caution. We'll be back after these messages. Information Superhighway is NASCAR online at www.nascar.com. Real-time electronic scoring. Watch the progress of any car on the track, and you can even print out a scorecard following the race. NASCAR Online. Here's the green.
And there they go. Mark Martin, Dale Jarrett, Ricky Rudd, Terry Labonte.
Joe Nemechek down the inside. He is one lap down in the 25th position.
Wow, Mark's got a pretty good jump.
Somebody went high up in. That was Bobby Labonte. Got very high. Jeff Gordon drove under, took the spot away.
The 21 car did not get his lap back. Michael Waltrip is still a lap down in 26, and they're 3 wide.
Yeah, Ricky Rudd went very high coming off of turn 4. That let Terry Labonte get under, and Ernie Irvin sees the opportunity also, and here they come. 3 abreast down in turn 1. Something got to give, guys.
This is the battle for third, and Jeff Gordon comes in to join the fray.
Okay, Terry Labonte is in the middle, and he's going to be the man that's going to come out of that in front. This is third.
So it's Martin, Jarrett, and now Terry Labonte, followed by Irvin, Rudd, Jeff Gordon, and Bobby Labonte.
Fuel mileage, all that stuff we talked, and Rudd once again.
Crash in turn 4. John Andretti in the fence.
Bobby Hill might have got a piece of him.
Yes, Bobby Hill has got some damage to his car. And Andretti back to the fence hard.
And the car rests at the bottom of the racetrack. He's firing it up, though, and was going to drive it around. John Andretti was running in 13th position when he hit the wall. It's our 7th caution of the day. And it happened in about the same part of the racetrack as Sterling Marlin did. Let's take a look.
See Andretti in the 37 car down low under Morgan Shepherd in the green 75 car. Andretti's car, the back end gets loose on it. Around he goes, and it looked like Morgan's able to pull away. But Andretti goes on around, then Bobby Hillen came by and just got a piece of it.
Well, the front end damage is what Bobby Hillen did as he goes by. He just backed in the fence, but all the damage in the front was done by Bobby Hillen.
Darrell Waltrip had a narrow escape. He had to go to the grass to avoid Andretti's cars that slid down the banking. So another caution period here with now 24 laps to go.
Well, will anybody come in the pits this time? Is anything wrong? Is Ricky Rudd going to come in because his car's been drifting very, very high and he stays on the racetrack?
They don't give up that track position.
So everybody stays out, and we're under caution once again. So we'll be back in just a moment with 176 laps.
Elliott, after his stop, was able to gain a couple of spots. He's up to 15th.
So there are 23 cars on the lead lap. Bobby Hill, the last of those. Bobby involved in that last little incident when he got caught up with Sterling Marlin. Not the last one, but the next to last one.
7 cars have been knocked out of competition for one reason or another.
It was his last incident that Bobby Hill got caught up with John Andretti, not Sterling Marlin.
Okay, the 2 lines are forming here at the north end of the racetrack as the pace car is about ready to pull down pit road. And we go back to racing now to settle this thing and see who's the best. Green flag is out.
Turn 2 there.
And Derek Cope high on the racetrack.
Boy, Mark looked like he was shot out of a gun off of that
turn 2. And there's Jeff Gordon trying to get under Ernie Irvin. That's for 5th spot.
4th spot. There's Ricky Rudd.
Whoa, look at
right down to the inside.
It's a left side, tires down under the white line and squeezes up in front of Jeff Gordon, but Gordon fights back on the inside.
And Gordon goes by Michael Waltrip.
And Dave Despain is with John Andretti.
John Andretti, tough finish for the day. What happened?
Well, I just had had a run on the 75 car. We're loose getting into the corner, but I just lost the back end, real tight racing and everything. But I just want to thank the whole Kmart Little Caesars team. You know, this weekend during the race, we didn't have a very good car to start with, and they kept pulling rubbers and doing all kinds of stuff. They just did a great job, and they hung with it, and I'm just disappointed for them that I couldn't give them the result they deserve.
John Andretti's done. We ought to have a heck of a shot to the green.
Yeah, we should. Jeff Burton is making room for himself, isn't he?
Boy, he is. He and Johnny Benson side by side. And there's Kenny Schrader, Dale Earnhardt.
Earnhardt just out of the top 10. He's running an 11th. So there's 8, 9, 10, and 11 right there.
Leg speed coming back out of the garage and out on the track. I couldn't believe they could get that car running again, but he is going down pit road, coming back out as we watch this battle. And here is Ernie Irvin trying to pass Terry Labonte on the outside, and he might make that pass. He does.
Well, Mark Martin is certainly not pulling away from the field as he did earlier. In fact, Dale Jarrett is within a car length now. As also Irvin, Labonte, and Gordon are not too far behind. Now Jarrett looks to the outside. But remember, his car works better. At least it has all race long on the inside.
I think Mark Martin realizes that because he moved over the block. Dale's on the inside.
Earnhardt having a problem here. Don't hit anything, Dale.
And he does not hit anything. Continues straight ahead. Kenny Schrader has damage. And you know what? There is not a caution flag. A lot of cars went down pit road. The Ted Musgrave, Jim Fuller car.
And Derek Cope was way out of control, and he slid through the grass sideways and saved it. So it was a miraculous save by a lot of drivers. Meanwhile, the battle up front continues, and now Ernie Irvin, and no, the caution is coming out. They're going to race back to the flag, but the caution is coming out.
I think this is working to Mark Martin's advantage, as Steve Mills says. He don't mind those 10-lap shootout type deals, because I know Jarrett's car needs to run about 20 laps under green for it to really come in.
Let's see if we can tell what might have happened. Never see Earnhardt on the inside of Schrader. Come off the corner, they make contact, and both cars spin. Schrader in the outside wall. Earnhardt nails the gas. He just nails the gas. Once he gets it going, now he hits the brakes, and we see Derek Cope going through the grass. Those other cars going down pit road. Earnhardt puts it in third gear and gasses it and goes.
Well, you just have to ask yourself if he had hit something, how it might have complicated his injuries. Here it is from another angle, and Earnhardt sliding, roof flaps come up, keeping the car on the ground. There's Derek Cope. He goes to the grass as Musgrave and others go to pit road. And Earnhardt got it straightened out, just stood on the gas and didn't hit anything.
Now then, just 14 laps to go. Earnhardt might stop and change 4 tires. We'll see.
Yeah, he's going to be pretty far back anyway. He's being shown as 17th and 23 cars on the lead lap. And with spinning around there, you got to figure that he might not have flat spotted him, though, because he didn't lock the brakes. He stood on the gas. Schrader, of course, is coming in.
Schrader had some pretty good contact with the wall on the right side of the car, so let's take a look at it as Earnhardt also comes down pit road. Back with more in just a moment. Just about to come off the track. We will complete lap number 189 at the drop of the green flag. We'll be on lap number 190, so we just got a few more laps to go in this one. Here's the green flag. The crowd anxious to find out who's going to win this thing.
The 3 Fords up front, Mark Martin, Dale Jarrett, and Ernie Irvin. And then you got a couple of Chevrolets in the way of Terry Labonte and Jeff Gordon.
And once again, Martin comes off turn 2 like he's shot out of a rocket. Puts about 10 car lengths on himself and Dale Jarrett.
Jerry Punch has a report on Dale Jarrett as his pursuit of Martin continues.
Bob Jarrett did not want to see that caution flag. He told Todd Perry, we need about 15 laps of green flag racing and we can catch a 6 car. But unfortunately, all he's going to get now is 11.
Ricky Rudd him off. Rudd not able to make that pass.
Now on top of Jeff Gordon's car, who's running 5th. Jeff has not led today. Neither has Earnhardt. Neither has Dale Jarrett. So 3 of the top 5 have not gotten 5 bonus points for leading, and 10 laps to go. Now make that 9 laps to go as they cross the line.
Now Dale Jarrett is closed right back up almost on the back bumper, but he's bringing baggage with him.
Ernie Irvin staying right there with him, and Terry Labonte.
Jarrett looking to the outside once again. He did this a few laps ago. He's going to go up there.
Can he get the traction he needs off the turn? Martin gets it. Now Jarrett's going to try. No, I thought he'd come down to the inside, but he can't do that.
Mark Martin has not won in 1996.
Dale Jarrett is running a line totally foreign to him. He hasn't been in that position on the racetrack all day long because Mark Martin is running exactly where he wants to run.
Here comes Dale again, up trying the outside. And he's got his car set up to run the low side. but Martin's taking that low side away.
And Dale Jarrett's got a great run off the corner. I think he's going to get him, Ned.
He doesn't. He's in the lead. At the line, at least.
But now Martin's right on the inside.
Jarrett, who now his car seems to be working in the middle and even top of the racetrack, and he has the lead down the backstretch.
Now did you have enough fuel? That was a questionable run. First of all, can he stay out there? Is he going to go back to the low side of the racetrack? Yeah, he does, but he doesn't pull away much.
Meanwhile, Mark Martin sees the red and black number 28 in his rearview mirror. And there are 6 laps to go. It happened 5 years ago this race when Dale Jarrett pulled off an incredibly exciting finish and beat Davey Allison by 10 inches to win his very first NASCAR Winston Cup race. And now Dale Jarrett is very much in the thick of the points battle to win the NASCAR Winston Cup. And please don't forget that on Labor Day weekend, when we go to Darlington, South Carolina for the Southern 500, Dale Jarrett will be going for the Winston Million.
Here's Earnhardt.
And there he is with Schrader again. They got into it a little while ago. Here they are racing again.
That's for 17th position between Schrader and Dale Earnhardt. It continues to be the same order down the backstretch up front. Labonte 4th, Jeff Gordon 5th, Bobby Labonte is in 6th.
Mark Martin is beating Dale Jarrett through turns 3 and 4, but Jarrett is beating him off of turn 2.
laps, aren't they?
3 to go, Ned. 6 miles.
Walmart closes up right on the back bumper. So does Ernie Irvin.
Irvin taking the high route coming off there. He should get him a good run coming off of that turn. And he closes in on Mark Martin. And don't forget Terry Labonte. He is right there. Well, they are all riding
driving their hearts out. As hard as they can go. You're right, man.
Here's Ernie trying to make a move on Martin, going down in turn 1.
Can't do it. But look at Labonte go flying by on the outside, and Ernie goes up, and Labonte takes that third spot.
That passed Ernie. He's going for second and wound up fourth. See the black flag when they come back.
White flag is showing. Dale Jarrett, one more lap to go. Can Mark catch him? Labonte is right there also.
Here's where Mark gets big time. He'll try to pull down on the inside. Here he comes, down to the inside.
Jarrett has that momentum, and he retains the lead.
Down the backstretch for the final time. Mark Martin slips back a little bit. It's a car length and a half now as they head for the north end of the racetrack in turn 3.
Martin drives it in deep one more time.
Labonte pulls up on Mark Martin. They remain in that order, and here they come off of corner number 4.
And it's Jarrett gonna do it.
Dale Jarrett wins the GM Goodwrench Service Dealer 400. Mark second, Terry third, Ernie fourth, and Jeff Gordon fifth. It's his 8th career win, 4th of 1996. Let's go to Dave Despain.
Robert Yates, tough to see your car lose third, going for second, and end up fourth. I guess that's a nice consolation prize, though, when you win the race. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's nice to finish these races for a change and finish them in this style. It's really good.
Ernie had a shot at making a 1-2, but Jarrett is really the man on the move. Is this team, his team, ready to win this championship? They've been on a bit of a pogo stick. Now we're into the stretch run. Can they go all the way?
Well, I'll tell you what, all our guys I'm sure have worked together well to make a really good team running 2 cars. And you know, like I still wear this 28 color sometime, and those guys are going to give me a hard time about beating us again this week, but we'll have something for them. Maybe we'll beat them at Darlington. What do you think? With a 28.
Go to victory lane, man. Congratulations. He owns the winning car and the 4th place car. That's Robert Yates.
And it was Dale Jarrett's 2nd win here at Michigan International Speedway, the first in 1991. Remember this? He's going to try this pass again. It got him in trouble earlier. They both slide up the racetrack, and here they come for the white flag. One more lap to go, and Allison has a slight advantage on Jarrett as they head for turn number 1.
But remember, Dale's been going well on the inside. Does he have the right line, though, Bob?
Davey Allison keeps his car in the middle of the racetrack. Dale Jarrett's car is on the low side. Off the 18 degrees of banking, they go down on 5 degrees of banking, and Dale Jarrett wiggles a little bit as they come out of the 2nd corner. They bump, they touch, they rub, going down the backstretch, side by side, wheel to wheel. Who is it going to be in the Champion Spark Plug 400? Jarrett has the slight advantage as they go into the 3rd and 4th corners. Davey Allison battles back on the outside. It's going to be a photo finish. They touch coming down through the tri-oval at the line. Who wins it? I believe Jarrett got it. Oh, wow. He drove for the Wood Brothers back then. He's a Robert Yates driver right now, and Dale Jarrett has done it again at Michigan. Our McDonald's Winner Circle interview. Let's go to victory lane.
On the 5th anniversary of that very first win, Dale Jarrett, 5 years ago, you stood here in tears. Today, you did it again. Congratulations.
Thanks, Jared. What an awesome car I had here. You know, we just had to be patient, wait till the right time, you know, and found a groove up high there that really worked. And want to thank God for a safe race and all he's done for me and this race team. Just appreciate everything. Thank the sponsors, Ford Quality Care, Ford Credit. To win here in Detroit for these guys is awesome. Todd Farrett, I can't say enough about. Robert Yates, Larry McReynolds, Doug Yates, all the guys. They just give me a great race car week in and week out, and it's just my job to keep it out of trouble and get here at the end.
Dale Jarrett in victory lane at Michigan. Bob?
So there are the unofficial results here at Michigan International Speedway. Dale Jarrett, his 8th career win. Congratulations to him. We'll be at Bristol, Tennessee next weekend. Thanks for watching us. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.